Talking Hammers, midweek roundup, no nonsense, just a straight up claret and blues news and views on our beloved football club in what was another hard week to be a West Ham fan, let's face it, but West Ham till we die, so let's crack on with this midweek roundup. Oh, if you're new around here, can you do me a favour? Subscribe, like, it really costs nothing, really helps other Hammers find the channel, helps the channel, makes the channel better for you guys. Let's do this. Well, we've got to talk about it. The Spurs shambles last Saturday. We got turned over once again, properly turned over once again at the London Stadium. That is, 8 goals now conceded in 2 home games, 2 London derbies. I can't see much further than blaming the manager for this. I didn't agree with the team lineup. My first concern being Paquetá playing a sort of false 9-stroke centre forward. Why? I mean, we've got 2 strikers on the bench. I know they're half injured and unable to play 90 minutes between them, but to sacrifice Paquetá from a position, I mean, he probably had his best game for us in the last 2 seasons against Forest in the game before. It just didn't make much sense to me. Our wonderfully short-sighted recruitment team and owners have left us in this sort of mess 2 weeks after the transfer window. And we're struggling to put a strong first 11 together. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I don't really want to dig players out, but a midfield of Ward-Prowse and Souček, that doesn't play in any other Premier League team. I went through them, honestly. You work your way down, obviously none of the top ones, but even when you start getting down the bottom, they wouldn't play for them teams. They're too slow, too mediocre, ridiculous. Anyway, after watching us flap about for, 8 corners we tried to defend in the first half. We was lucky not to concede with the VAR one. Could have gone either way. Second half, obviously, Thomas Frank, it took, 2 minutes or something for him to put a player in that massive gap we're leaving at the back post. Sarr has a free header, and the all too familiar West Ham collapse begins again. Heads down, positions and formations, all becomes loose. Souček ended his afternoon with a clumsy red card, and it wasn't long before we all sort of had enough really and started the early exit. Not much more I can really say on the game, really. Yeah, you're angry and fuming, but not really that shocked. We're sort of getting numb to it all now. Potter is doing nothing to convince me, and it's probably a case of when, not if, the board makes a decision on his future. Well, talking about the board, the big cheese himself, Mr. Sullivan, he's gone radio silent. Well, media silent. He's not even talking to his ITKs now. This is all part of his silly games. He thinks, that's what really bothers Sullivan is what the media think. So he believes like a no comment stance is giving the outlets very little to talk about. It's all part of his game. The more I think about it, the more hope I get that this is the beginning of the end for Sullivan. Okay, obviously we need a buyer to completely remove him, but pressure will intensify with the protests gathering media attention. We've got to just keep on with this. Let's talk the protests, shall we? So West Ham fans, it's been organised by Hammers United. They're launching a protest campaign titled No More BS. It's aimed at the club directors, particularly targeting Brady and Sullivan, whom they believe should step down for the club's benefit, basically. The campaign really kicks off before the Crystal Palace match on Saturday. It's like a peaceful demonstration along Marshgate Lane from Pudding Mill Station all the way to the director's entrance at the London Stadium. The point of this, I mean, Hammers United are encouraging fans to sort of bring friends and family and flags, and they're trying to create a sort of carnival atmosphere. It's so important that this is done peacefully. Expressing discontent with the club's leadership, yeah, but the protest must aim to unite the fan base and get the attention of the media in a good way. We can't have hooliganism sort of thrown on us. That will stop the protest happening because you need police permission. Now, look, obviously it's up to you if you want to protest, but I have actually started urging my West Ham mates to join the fight to get our club back. If you do want to get involved or find out more information on the route and things like that, I'd look up Hammers United on X or search for their website. You'll easily find it. I'll put some links where I can, but I think it's important we join this fight and protest before the Palace game. Speaking of the Palace game, let's have a little preview of the third London derby for West Ham this season. The Eagles, they've had a solid start. 1 win, 3 draws, no losses. They've only let in 1 goal all season. That's the joint best defence in the league. So we're going to have our work cut out. We've actually lost 4 of our last 6 games against them, but we did win 2-0 at Selhurst Park last time. Now, Glasner, I think, is a great manager, but let's face it, this could become light work for him if we don't sort out our slow midfield and defensive set pieces, corners, really. I mean, Palace have energy and power, so a massive improvement from us is needed. Spurs didn't actually have to play that well to beat us, and I believe Palace are a more balanced, solid side than Spurs, so the eyes will obviously be on the starting lineup. I'm hoping Magassa starts in the holding position with Paquetá and Fernandes making up the 3. Somerville and Bowen on the wings with a striker up top, hopefully, whether that's Fulkrug or Wilson, or they do a half each or something. Surely we've got to have some sort of striker up there. Anyway, let's try and end a bit happier, shall we? The under-21s, they smashed MK Dons 5-1 in the EFL Trophy last night. The team lineup, it was a shock, to be honest. It included Potts, Fabianski, I know, in goal for the under-21s. Preston Fearon scored an early goal. The lads run riot. It was actually a much more enjoyable watch than the first team. Got some very good young players for the future. Actually wouldn't hurt seeing them step up. I would much rather see Potts than Ward-Prowse, for example, in the first team midfield. I mean, actually, take a look at the front 5. I'll put the graphic up. This is how they rated last night. I mean, look at that. That tells the story itself. 2 goals for Preston Fearon. He was man of the match, by the way. 2 goals for Marshall. Assists for Urfi and the very impressive Kante. All players that could step up, in my opinion. But at some point, they're going to need to be getting Premier League minutes. Actually, that's the point. I think I need to make this point. When Potter arrived, he energised the club with his, well-spoken interviews, inclusion of youth. I know for a fact that the academy felt a massive boost from being more inclusive with the first team when he arrived. In comparison, I'm led to believe, amazingly, Lopetegui didn't even watch an academy training session when he was in charge. So with Potter, I saw hope that the Academy of Football had a path to the first team again. I don't now. I mean, take Freddie Potts, for example. He looked very good when used in the first team in pre-season, but he hasn't had a look in. In fact, for the first 2 games of the Premier League, he was kept out of the side by Rodriguez, who we are desperately trying to offload. I mean, make it make sense, someone. This is another thing bugging me about Potter. He's let the youth down now. Look at the lineup for the under-21s last night. Marshall, Potts and Urfi. The 3 we thought were first-team players are now having to get their minutes at that level again. Anyway, I promised myself I wouldn't get too negative on this show. There's your midweek sort of hump day roundup. We should have called it that, shouldn't we? A lot of hammers with the hump. A lot of cross hammers. We want more crossed hammers. If you're not a subscriber, then why not? Hit subscribe. It's Talking Hammers. Get involved. Hit like. I want your comments. I want your opinions. That's what this show's about. It's about West Ham fans talking to each other, sharing opinions. The channel's for you guys. That was my passion, to make a YouTube channel that West Ham fans could really get involved in. So keep liking, hit subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time. It's Talking Hammers. Come on, you Irons.
Each London's up, we will stand in a clearing where we're chatting loud side by side. It's true, so true. Up to back to the bride, lost together we ride. History of the thief, West Ham never dies.